Picture this, two guys trapped in the South Charleston Public Library. One guy loves movies, the other, well, he'd rather be watching reality TV. Can they survive each other's films? Find out on Real Opposites, a library podcast about movies, hosted by Josh and Aaron from the South Charleston Public Library.
Hey guys, and welcome back to The Real Opposites. I'm Aaron.
I'm Josh.
And today we are joined by our special guest, Todd.
Oh, hi, podcast.
That's good.
What do you want to talk about?
All right. So we...
Don't talk about me.
So we are going to discuss this week the movies that I think Todd chose. Is that
I think
correct?
so, yeah.
Kind of a discussion. We did The Room, and then the movie made off the book about making The Room, Disaster Artist. It was a little different this time. We took a little field trip to the movies. They were showing it in theaters for the 20th anniversary.
20th to the day.
Yes. So we went, and we actually went to the movies to see it. So that was an experience, but we'll get to that.
It was something.
Yeah. So I guess maybe we'll start with, since I think this was originally your idea, Todd, we'll start with you and why you thought this was what we should watch.
Well, the question is, why wouldn't we watch this? I think I first watched this movie maybe 10 years ago. I had already seen Troll 2 and had become obsessed with that. And then I kept hearing these horror stories about this movie, The Room, and I put it upon myself and I bought a DVD and I watched it, and it was terrible. But I loved every minute of it.
Now, was this prior to them making The Disaster Artist, or was it after that was already out as well?
Yeah, this was at least 10 years ago or so when I first saw it. So Disaster Artist came out in what?
2017.
2017. And I've read the book as well, The Disaster Artist. So that, made me interested, obviously, in seeing the movie. It's just a really bad, fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
And I think it's perfect.
It seems like
Magnificent train wreck.
it seems like every time you're on here, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Bad movies.
Yeah. See, he picks like fun bad movies. You pick 17 again.
That was a good movie. It's not even a bad movie. It's just a good movie.
I like movies that are bad, not on purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Troll 2 and The Room. And
Right.
stuff like that.
Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the Universe. It is.
I liked that movie.
I'm nostalgic for that,
The
definitely.
pain in
but,
Todd's face is evident.
but it is a bad movie.
It's a low blow. Sorry.
But there's something endearing about these bad movies.
They are.
People put a lot of time and thought into them. Well, maybe.
Frank Langella did. In
yeah.
Masters of the Universe.
I don't know how much. I think Tommy wrote the script for The Room in probably a day.
Actually, he had a novel. It was already written. He had a 530-page written novel that he already had on hand.
I need to read that.
It's not published, but that's what The Room came from. It's like his handwritten.
That'll be a bestseller
Novel.
whenever it gets published.
Yeah. There's a market for it.
Just sitting on money there. Literally dozens of copies will sell.
Yeah. Dozens.
Dozens. I'm sorry. I just thought I would let you know.
No,
that is the case.
No,
there.
that went. We just all were sitting here. we all watched The Room,
yeah.
and
We all sat as we're supposed to in a dark theater and watched
that's correct.
masterpiece of the cinema.
I did not watch it on my phone, so there's
True.
that.
But you did have to focus,
I did have to focus.
unfortunately.
Yes, I was going to say, unfortunately, I could have probably skipped the first half of the movie and been okay.
That's okay, because that's like, so I was like, there's an interesting statistic. 10% of the film is sex scenes.
Yes.
Did you notice that I think it was maybe the third or fourth sex
I
scene?
think it's the third one sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think we're talking about different things, but I know what you're talking about. I just noticed when we were in the theater that a large group of people got up to use the restroom during the third or fourth sex scene. they knew it was going to be a little 3-4 minute break.
Right.
We got
so it was
some time.
an
I can
intermission.
go.
Yeah.
You need some refreshments or empty your bladder. Just go.
Man, I tell you what, if we hadn't went to the movies and watched it, I probably would have checked out, honestly. 100%, which would have been sad because the rest of the movie is great. I mean, it's badly great.
Yeah.
But man,
They go on.
I second guessed what y'all took me to be honest.
It was like
This is a weird movie to watch with your coworkers.
Right,
Is that what
yeah.
you were thinking?
I was like, okay, this is not a normal movie.
definitely felt like we were watching like an old school Cinemax movie.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's like, so unnecessary for one. I get
They're so long.
because they're so long and they're so wrong. Like they're just
Anatomically.
yeah, everything about it is
It's not sexy.
It's not sexy. I don't think they even know how to.
it's like
they're
it doesn't
in the wrong positions. and
it
spots.
doesn't make sense whatsoever. So it's just it was rough. It was definitely rough.
And the
getting through
first
that.
and the third one are the same sex scene. That wasn't in the script, but he put the extra stuff from the first sex scene where the candles are lit and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He made that another sex scene. It's like
Nice.
the same
Yeah,
sex
you
scene.
see the flowers.
Yeah.
and that whole thing again. They just must have a bunch of flowers around.
You
the
couldn't
Right.
try to make a bad movie like this.
But I will say once it got past that, because obviously, as I've said on here many times, unnecessary scenes like that, just love scenes that are unnecessary, just it's too much. And those were way too much. And I felt like it was half the movie. Obviously, it probably wasn't, because if it was only 10%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still like that's like 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, I felt like it was 30.
They feel
Like,
very
for
long.
real, it felt like 30 to me. And it was one of those things, like, it was like, oh, great, it's finally over, let's move on.
And 5 minutes later.
Never mind, here we go again. Like, you couldn't escape it.
And who's in the starring role? The actor, the writer, producer, director.
Everything.
He wrote that just so he could be in a sex scene, I think.
Yeah, I was reading that in the book.
He's very fond of his own butt.
Clearly.
Wears the two belts.
That's why he wears this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the one
Because it lifts.
yeah, it lifts his butt as he says that.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it makes my butt look good.
So wild. But the rest of the movie, I mean, I enjoyed it. I really did.
It was a lot of fun.
Once we got past that, it was rough, but once we got past that, I enjoyed the whole thing. It was hilarious.
I understand it was rough for you, but it was comedic gold for me. Like, me and Josh were dying through all of the sex scenes.
See, it was
giggling.
it was to the point where it was like beyond funny. It was just annoying.
We were just commenting on how like why,
Yeah.
like how awkward they are.
I think after you see it a couple times, you appreciate the ridiculousness
Yeah, maybe.
of the sex
I doubt
scenes.
I ever will, but maybe.
On-screen kiss that passionate. Showgirls level here.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, then you get on to everything else, and it's like the storyline. I mean, I did get where he was going with the storyline. I mean, clearly it's a pretty simple storyline. Boy loves girl, girl doesn't love boy, girl cheats on boy. Like, boy kills himself.
Girl wants to leave boy, but then girl wants to be with boy. But then she wants to sleep with other people, but she still wants to be with boy. And then she wants.
So that's where I was going with this. Was
She is the worst.
The main concept was
awful.
there. Well, but also like the scenes were out of place.
Yeah,
Because you
there's
had
no
her talking
continuity.
like to her mom, being like, "I don't love him anymore." But then the next scene, she was talking about how she loves him.
Even within the same scene, she goes back and forth.
It
Like
might
one
have
of
been
those
the
scenes
same
with her
scene.
mom, it's like they're talking and she's like, "I'm leaving Johnny," and then like a minute later, she's like, "I guess Johnny's okay. I'll stay with Johnny," or "I love Johnny," or
Right.
"Johnny's good for me." And it's like,
And there's really no build up to it. It's just like, I'm leaving Johnny.
yeah.
Or when the mom says she has breast cancer, it's just like, what?
But don't worry,
No, she didn't say what. She's just like, "It'll be okay."
Tommy has assured us post movie that she survived.
Good.
Oh, did he really?
He did something like that. Somebody asked him. and he
Yeah,
was
because
like,
it's never
"She's
brought
okay,
back
she's
up
okay."
again.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, and just the title of The Room. You can't like make this up. Like, why is it The Room?
Yeah, you know,
Like,
I never even thought of that.
What's
actually,
the title about? Like,
It's shot on a rooftop in a room as well. Mostly shot in the room.
I mean, it's
One room.
true.
Yeah.
There's like two rooms. There's the room and there's the bedroom,
And then there's the rooftop room
Rooftop.
because that's not outside.
rooftop.
Technically, it was in a room.
I mean, technically,
So yeah, I guess
it was all shot on soundstage except for the flower shop, I think,
Yeah.
which is still there. And the lady in the movie
still
is
works there.
Is Doggy still there?
it's Doggy. Hello, Doggy.
It's an old doggy.
Maybe she got another one just to keep the bit going.
There you go.
No, but she really worked there. It's something else now. They sold it or whatever.
The lady in the movie was an employee there?
Yeah, that's the owner, I think.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, hey, Johnny.
I didn't recognize you. As if this vampire from like Transylvania isn't recognizable.
So that is my
around
theory.
in broad daylight.
Is that he actually is a vampire?
I mean,
We don't
who
know
knows?
where his wealth came from. We don't know how old he is. He doesn't seem to age. Like,
He's definitely.
He's aging.
he's aged a little bit. You know, he's close enough in the last 20 years. And he really doesn't want people to talk about those things. His name's not
Why you talk
real.
about me?
Yeah, exactly. His name's not real. It's made up from where he used to sell bird toys in L.A. Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, it's oiseau and os, like it's the French word for bird is oiseau, but with an O, and so it just switched it with the W.
Oh.
So it's like it's not his real name. He says he's from Louisiana, but he's definitely from like Eastern Europe somewhere.
He said that he spent some time in France.
Yeah.
Like as a child. But he doesn't really admit to like being born there or being
Yeah,
a Frenchman.
He's quite a mystery.
he is a mystery.
I think that's what makes this really cool, is that he's put this whole. I mean, he's still doing this bit, intentionally or not intentionally. I'm not sure, but there's still a mystery surrounding him, and people are still interested in him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of smart in some ways.
If he's even doing it on purpose. I feel like some of it relates to, I do think there's probably something like going on in his head that's not quite right.
I think he had a brain injury at some point.
He was involved in a car wreck. He talks about.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's like his thinking and his voice, his speech. I feel like I don't know. It's just such a weird, like the way he speaks and his accent.
Traumatic brain injuries can change your whole personality.
Yeah.
The way
for
that you
sure.
talk.
That's what I mean. It's like
there are even people who have traumatic brain injuries and then wake up speaking
A different
a
language.
different accent.
Yeah.
That's not theirs and
Yeah,
not
that's
one
what I
they've
mean.
ever
It's-
had. Yeah.
Right.
Could be from Louisiana. I mean, and had this injury and.
Well, and we all started reading the book,
yeah.
but I was listening to it, and I'm not very far in, but basically today I was just getting to the part where he goes to Tommy's apartment for the first time, and as he was describing that and what we know about Tommy, it honestly reminded me of like Michael Jackson, where he was kind of like child mentality, but also did these weird extravagant things like with his house and stuff. I don't know.
He surrounded himself with younger people too.
Right, exactly, which Tommy does as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's something there, but I don't know. It just really reminded me of that.
I mean, he definitely comes off some of the book that I read. Like he's very erratic and just kind of a jerk to a lot of people. Like to him, like he can be very. I don't know how to describe it, but just like there's something's wrong with him.
Well,
and he's just not like cognizant of other people's of reality.
Right, yeah.
In a lot of ways. Like Tommy, you show up to 4 hours late on your first day, and
Yeah.
like he just doesn't understand what other people are doing and how his actions are affecting everyone else around him.
Right.
There's a carelessness
personally
there.
and professionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it sounds like he was also good to the people that he was good to. I mean, I know throughout the time, Greg, I know like in the part I'm already in, he was thinking about quitting acting because it was going bad for him. And like Tommy gave him more confidence and convinced him not to do it, not to quit and things like that. So it sounds like he was also good to the people.
There was
and he paid him good to be in the movie and all. I mean, like he was good to the people at the same time.
Yeah, I think they both, worked hand in hand together, but Tommy definitely was a jerk to him at times. I think he tried to control Greg. And I think that's why he offered him his apartment in L.A. is so he could have some sort of control over this man. And I think that dynamic really strained their relationship. And that's when there's some fights in the book that they get into, and Tommy says he can't live in his apartment anymore, and
He was like cashing his checks from like Tommy was? I kind of
He was. So he had been paying, I think, Tommy like $200 a month to stay in this nice LA apartment, which is incredible. That's a nice gesture of Tommy to do that for him. But he wasn't cashing the checks that Greg was paying him. And then all of a sudden,
he starts cashing all of them.
Cashed them all at once. And like he pretty much like went through his entire savings. So he'd do stuff like that. I don't know if that's intentional or just he's got all this money and he didn't care about it. You know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like there's just like a lack of understanding of what's of the world around him.
Yeah,
you know.
That might come from the same context we talked about, like just some social or cultural mismatch.
And it sounds like we're diving off of the movie, but this is, but at the same time, we're not, because it is so important. I think it is important to understand them as real people to go and watch this movie. Like originally, you guys told me I should watch The Room and then The Disaster Artist. I am so glad I watched The Disaster Artist first, because it gave me quite an understanding of the people. I think if I had just watched The Room, I might have hated it.
And like, well, it's just like it's how this happened. Having some understanding,
right?
But the film in context, so that you can be like, oh, that's why this is terrible,
right?
That's why this turned out so weird.
Yeah, so that's I think is how I would have people watch it, but I also think it's because they did a great job with The Disaster Artist on kind of capturing the personalities of them.
Oh, James Franco is just perfect as Tommy.
Yeah, he did a great job.
I think all the casting was really good. I mean, Dave Franco, I think, was great as Greg. And, of course, you know, we had Zac Efron.
He was great as Chris R.
I still want an explanation for the name Chris R.
Yeah. It's in the beginning of the book.
Is it? Okay, I'll read it.
He said,
I remember them talking
why
about
is it Chris R? And he said, because he's like gangster.
I thought it was
something like that.
I thought it was just like he's just Chris R. That's it.
No, he said something like because he's
a gangster.
I know they mentioned that at the start of the book, but I don't remember.
Yep.
Well, back to the room. I mean, that Chris R. scene where he's a drug dealer, and
randomly,
and
shows up on a rooftop.
He goes up on a rooftop, and he's trying to reclaim some money from Denny.
Which is the weird next door neighbor.
Who's supposed to be like 15 or 16, but he's like 25 in real life.
He's older than everyone else.
He's also like a voyeur.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That opening scene.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Where he's
I want to have a pillow fight with you.
Like going to go have sex, and he's like, can I watch?
Yeah, it was weird.
It was completely inappropriate.
I don't think that's what it was meant to be.
Also, who's
but
Denny?
It was weird.
Oh, that's right. Because he comes off like he's his son, but
yeah.
No, he's the neighbor that he kind of took care of or something.
But to me, that scene was like the most well-acted scene in the entire movie. Like, Chris R. was the best actor in the movie.
Yeah.
For sure. And Zac Efron did a great job as portraying him.
He did.
Yeah.
Getting into character was great because Diddy was just scared to death.
Right.
He was character acting, and he was just dropping all these curse words and screaming, getting prepped for the scene. I think it's hilarious.
It is. And there's so many scenes like that in this movie, in The Room. Once again, either the scenes are out of order or the scenes are just random. Like, never before is it mentioned Denny has a drug problem. Never after is it mentioned Denny has a drug problem.
They had to get the gun into Tommy Wiseau's hands somehow.
Yeah. Nah.
That's why. Because they take the gun from Chris R., and that's the gun that Tommy shoots himself with.
Well, according to Tommy...
it's not clear enough.
Yeah, it's not.
At all.
Denny has a mental disorder in the movie. It's supposed to have. Unfortunately, Tommy did not
make that in the movie.
Tell the actor that.
Oh.
Well, he was very secretive with the script, too. Like, they all didn't have the completed script. They just had their lines.
I love it. That explains so much of the movie.
Right.
It's like, it's written like he's supposed to have some thing, but he
doesn't, because
he's just acting like a grown-up, like, you know, Leave It to Beaver kind of kid. It's like...
Exactly, yeah.
That is hilarious.
So brilliant.
I don't know. It just, like I said, if you get past that first half, it felt like that the rest of the movie is golden, and there's so many funny things. And one thing I noticed that I kept laughing at, and nobody else in the theater was laughing at, and maybe it's not that funny, but every time they come into the living room or whatever it is, that door they come through, for the whole scene, the door would stay open. They never shut the door behind them.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
they come through and they just stand near the door and chat, and the door is just wide open all the time. And I don't know why, but that was hilarious to me.
Well, and two, they would like walk in the door. They'd say, "Oh, hi,"
Yeah.
and then they go, "Okay, bye."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like in and out. Everybody was in and out of that room.
And I love that because the mom eventually says something about like, how many people come in and out of here every day? There were so many lines that the mom had that made me laugh because it was things I was thinking about the movie and it seemed almost meta.
Yeah.
And it was just, which you knew it wasn't because it was not that forethought out, but it seemed meta. And I thought it was super hilarious.
It almost seems like she ad-libbed that part. But
Right. She's like, this makes no sense. How many people come in here?
Do you know what got me in like that same kind of way? The fact that every time they see each other, oh hi, like, or hi so and so, like they reintroduce
Yeah.
everyone every time.
Yeah.
Like every time you see your friends, you're like hi. Like it would be like if I walked into work every day and was like hi Aaron every time I walked by the desk and was gonna talk to like one of you guys.
I think you should do that.
No, yeah.
It's a lot. It's just like
I also like
they just
that
started talking.
O has to go in front of every hi.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi.
Oh, hi.
Like,
Like, oh, hi.
Well, you definitely learn the characters' names.
100%.
Yeah, I know who Lisa and Denny and Chris are.
Chris R, yeah.
I feel like we've already covered like the whole
Yeah,
gist
Mark,
of the
who's
movie.
Peter?
Peter is the or is it
Peter, the
the
therapist?
psychologist? Yeah. And then they randomly introduce Steven at the end. Don't know.
Yeah,
Hasn't
I
been in
know,
the movie
random
the whole
guy.
where did
time.
he come from?
Is he the random guy that was so worried about their relationship?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just like I haven't seen you.
He
for
wasn't in the
first
whole movie.
hour.
This is an atrocious friend group. Like everybody knows, and nobody is saying anything.
Yeah, also, that's true.
So before we,
Nobody cared about Johnny at all.
so what are some things that you think from a like, if this were an actual movie, you know,
I mean, it is an actual movie.
Yeah.
We went to the theaters and saw it, man.
yes, if this were a decent movie, what are some of the things that The Room does well, like actually does well? Where I talked about like Chris R.
Yeah.
How short is this list?
Yeah, I don't think you guys got any.
I mean, I do think with all the horrible scenes and stuff, I mean, I do think it was, like I said, the idea behind what the movie was about was able to be seen. Obviously, Johnny really loved Lisa. Lisa was unsure, depending on the scene, about Johnny. And Johnny and Mark had a good a good friendship until they didn't. And I think that's what the movie's about. So I think like that comes through
Yeah.
in its own way.
I'll say at least he did shoot some of the movie in 35 millimeter,
Yeah.
Some of it.
and then also shot it in HD, which requires different lighting and equipment. Like you don't, and I could tell like each time they would switch. Like this is a shot on film, this is a shot on digital video because the video is softer and the colors are different.
Yeah.
But it's like who? And he bought the cameras. He spent like $500,000 on the cameras.
And the lenses were like $40,000
Yeah.
a piece.
It's
Yeah, he spent over $6 million on this movie.
yeah.
Of his own
and
money.
$6 million, that includes the promotion. So that includes paying. I figured this up yesterday. That billboard
Yeah.
that he kept up for 5 years. The movie only showed for 2 weeks.
I didn't know it was up for 5 years. That's
He
great.
kept it up for 5 years, paying a total of $300,000 just to
Just
keep that
for the
billboard up
billboard.
for 5 years.
That's another mystery about
It's
like
like,
Tommy.
what?
How does
And
he
then-
afford to do all this?
Right. Nobody knows.
No
The
one knows.
billboard too, like that image of him with
Because he's a vampire.
it's just so weird.
There's so like The Room cost $6 million to make, and it has turned a profit. It has become profitable,
But yeah.
but it made $1,800 its opening weekend.
Right.
And Tommy paid to have the theater open for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
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 So it could be nominated for an Oscar.
But I like that there's this
Right.
group of guys
That's true.
that like they went to pretty much like the first showing and they were just like, this is amazing. And then like they started showing up for the next I think like the last showing, like they brought spoons and all these accessories to like throw at the screen and like get
Like
everyone
interactive.
Yeah, like Rocky Horror or something.
You know, I've
Should have worn
heard
ties.
a couple times the spoon thing mentioned. Where does the spoons come from?
I didn't actually notice it. But I was reading about it. So apparently the production designer was like, the set's a little sparse, like the living room set. And so Tommy was like, go out and buy some stuff. And so they bought like picture frames and, whatever. And the set dresser was like, do you want us to put pictures of you guys in them? And he's like, no. And what was in the picture frame, like the stock pictures of spoons.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Are in the picture frame. I didn't notice, but I'll have to. If I have to watch, if I watch it again, I'll definitely keep an eye out. Apparently, that's where the spoons come from.
I want to share this with people, so I'm going to try to make some of my friends watch it with me, and I'm going to look for that because that is hilarious.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like he put so much money into the movie, of his own money, but then when it got to like stuff like that, he's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Spoons.
There
I like
was-
spoons.
Or-
Why can't Johnny like spoons?
Don't worry about that.
There
He
was
could be very stingy with his money too.
Like they did with the water on set.
Yeah, no water on set.
Oh yeah, you don't get water anywhere in LA.
Not paying them like on time, and
there was a girl at the movie theater while we were there that had spoons.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. She was walking out with them. A whole bunch of plastic spoons. I was going to say one of the things I thought was done well is I hated Lisa. I thought she was an awful person.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it
like the
was,
whole time. Like
think
that
it
was well
was-
done.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It was written kind of from like a misogynistic point of view. So you were made to hate Lisa through the eyes of like a misogynistic man, which also made me feel gross for hating her. But I mean, yeah, she definitely was hated because they made it very clear that it was her fault and only her fault.
She was a bad person.
Yeah, she made people do things they didn't want to do
And
with
even-
her witchcraft, I guess. I don't know.
it made it also seem like Greg really wasn't that bad for what he was doing. Having the affair with her.
That's what I mean. Like it's as if it was only she was involved in the affair, not his best friend.
Yeah. Like she coerced him into it. She
Right.
made him do it.
Because even after Johnny shoots himself, they have at the end where they're over the body and he starts like blaming her big time and tells her to get out of the house. Like only he's allowed to be with dead Johnny, and because they're best friends, but because of her wizardry.
Well, he did. Even he is like kind of uninterested. Like the first couple scenes he has with her.
He's very uninterested.
He's just like-
very uninterested.
Yeah, okay, bye. Like when he's
Yeah.
talking to her, it's not like
I think it's supposed to be him being a good friend,
yeah,
but it just wasn't written like that.
no.
Not into her like that. Which is what everyone tells her, like the whole time is like, Greg doesn't love you. He's like, oh well.
Yeah. Well, actually, they have her say at one point, well, if he doesn't, somebody else will.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh man, this writing.
It's not great. It's not great.
But overall though, it was a. People that knew I was going to the movie have asked me how it was, and the only way I could describe it is, it was an experience, and I'm glad it happened in the theater. Like the whole thing was an experience. I mean, I enjoyed it though. I laughed a lot.
Oh yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the whole experience. I thought it was fun.
Could you imagine just seeing that movie on opening day?
Just thinking, oh,
Like
this movie,
not knowing, yeah.
this movie, The
not
Room.
knowing.
Okay, let's go see this.
There's a lot of. I mean, there's a billboard for it. It has to be a good movie.
Yeah, somebody paid to put a billboard up.
Yeah.
It looks like it's about like a
A vampire.
man with a
A vampire. It's not a vampire.
sleepy vampire.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine like walking in not knowing what it was, and which I kind of
You
was
would be-
hoping would happen at the theater while we were
I
there.
would have like, I want a refund.
Yeah. I was hoping that somebody was just going to the movies and was like, let's see The Room, like not knowing.
Yeah.
And it was just on the list of movies and picked it.
It was called The Room Celebration 20th Anniversary. Like, this
Yeah.
must be an important film.
Right. Exactly.
It
like,
is.
oh, this must be a
I've never
classic
heard of this movie.
masterpiece. And
TCM is really doing a great job.
I could not imagine. I mean, it'd be wild.
Oh, if I could time travel, I would go back and
go to the opening day.
Yeah, just to see it, or try to get on set somehow.
It will be in the room.
Be an extra or something.
Yeah.
Oh, just to watch that process.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of that in The Disaster Artist, which is great.
Right. Yeah. Now, I mean, on the other hand, which we mentioned, most of us are reading the book or whatever now, The Disaster Artist. So Greg, that's his real name. Mm-hmm. Greg wrote a book about meeting Johnny and his life with Johnny and the creation of the room, and it's called The Disaster Artist.
Tommy.
Who did I say?
Johnny, which is his character.
Tommy. Yeah, same. I'm pretty sure they're the same person. Okay, so Tommy, and then I guess James Franco got a hold of it and turned it into a movie, or one of them did.
I saw where Tommy said like he wanted either Johnny Depp or James Franco.
That's pretty good casting on his part. I mean, I think either one would work.
Those are who he wanted to play him.
Okay, it's James Franco, Dave Franco, and then all kinds of people.
Yeah,
like Seth Rogen and Allison Brie. Like
Zac
Bryan
Efron.
Cranston.
Yeah.
Which that never happened. Like him getting offered a shot on Malcolm in the Middle. I think it was originally going to be somebody else who had like a big show at the time, but that never happened.
See, that threw me off because that made me feel really bad for Greg, and then it wasn't even a real event.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there was like
things like it that happened.
Greg did not
like
want to
it,
shave his beard.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he felt like it was part of his look.
Right.
Like in real life, but he was like made to in the movie.
Yeah.
That was
Can we
like
take a moment to talk about the biggest actor of The Disaster Artist?
What?
Dave Franco's fake beard.
Fake beard.
How about before we get much deeper into The Disaster Artist, we'll take a break here and hear some announcements from the library, and then we'll come back and really dive into The Disaster Artist.
Okay. Toby here with the adult services announcements for the library. We have a whole bunch going on because it's June and summer reading is upon us. So if you've not signed up for our summer library program or summer reading program, come on by the library and sign up for that. But for events this month, obviously, if you're listening to this, it is the 1st, and we've released a new episode of the Real Opposites podcast. Our next episode is going to come out June 15th. Now, June 2nd, we have our first meeting of the Cryptid Coloring Club that will have 2 meetings this summer. But this first one, just come on by. We have coloring sheets. This is an adult program, but just come by, relax, and color with us and enjoy some cryptid fun fact. Then on Monday, June 5th, we have our first welcome meeting for our book club. If you want to participate in the book club this summer, you need to come to the welcome meeting. We will have snacks and tea, and we will be meeting the 5th at 6 p.m. Then Friday, June 9th, we will have our whimsical watercolors with Joanne Jacobs starting at 5 p.m. Saturday, June 10th, we will have the South Charleston Interpretive Center tours at 11 and 1:30. So come on by the library and then we'll send you across to the Interpretive Center for your tour. Closed for Juneteenth and West Virginia Day. But the first day back, June 21st, our Bigfoot researchers are coming in. So we will have In the Shadow of the Big Red Eye with producer and lead investigator Mike Familiot at 7 p.m. here at the library. And then the last thing that we have in June is on the 26th, we will have our first book reading meeting of the book club where we will be discussing The Devil All the Time. But remember, if you want to participate in book club, we do need you to come to that meeting on the 5th. All right, I'm going to pass it on over to Kendall where she will have lots of announcements about youth and what they're doing this summer in outer space.
Hey everyone, Kendall here, and we are so excited to be going out of this world this summer for our reading program entitled the SCPL Reading Rocket. So starting next week on Tuesday the 6th, we'll start having weekly programs for different age groups every week. Tuesday is for school-age kids, so these are kindergartners through 5th graders, and we have programs at 10:30 and again at 6:30. And these are identical programs, but we just want to offer them at different times of the day for different family schedules. We have our teen program starting on Wednesday, June the 7th. That runs from 3 to 5 p.m. and is open to teens in grades 6 through 12. And then on Thursdays, starting Thursday, June 8th, we have our early literacy program. So this is perfect for kiddos from birth through age 4 or 5, perfect for toddlers, preschoolers, and those programs will be at 10:30 and again at 3:30. So like I said, those will be every week. During the summer on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, with a few exceptions. As Toby mentioned, the library is closed on June 19th for Juneteenth, and then again on June 20th in honor of West Virginia Day. So that week we will not be having regular programs, but instead, on that Friday, June the 23rd, starting at 3, we're going to show the movie WALL-E, a personal favorite, and we'll also have some crafts that kids can work on, popcorn and juice, and that'll also be an opportunity for kids to bring in recycled robots, which would be robots they've made out of materials they found around the house to add to our robot display. So that is a quick overview of all of our youth programs for the month of June, but if you are interested, I strongly encourage you to check out our Facebook page and or our website for more details, or you can pick up a hard copy of the calendar here at the SCPL circulation desk. But without further ado, I'll pass it back to Miss Toby. Thanks so much for listening.
All right, guys, and we're going to send you back to the show.
All right, so we're back from the announcements from the library, and I guess we're going to kind of dive into the disaster artist. So I know you said about the beard, didn't look good. What do you think about the disaster artist other than that?
I remember, I've seen it before. I saw it on Christmas Day by myself, which is
like when it premiered.
It's very Tommy Wiseau moment. I just went home.
I once took myself to IHOP for Christmas by myself.
Did you?
That is much worse.
You win. I think there was like 2 other people in the theater when I saw it, and I wasn't crazy about it. I was really looking forward to it. So I thought the trailer looked great, the cast and everything, but it didn't really, I don't know, it did, like at the time it didn't do much for me. Like I didn't find it terribly funny or like engaging, but watching it again, like 6 years later, I laughed really hard. And like, I think knowing more about it too, like I'd read up a little bit and it was just it's a really good movie. It's really funny. Everyone's really committed to the movie. Like Franco's really great.
Yeah.
In the movie. Like he really, like the accent's a little too thick for like what's actually in the movie, like actual Tommy accent.
I think it's on purpose.
Yeah, I think, to make it
a little
just a little bit more of a caricature than.
Yeah. Now, the first time you saw it, had you already seen The Room?
Yeah, I'd seen like the riff tracks.
Okay.
But so that's why I was like excited because I knew this was really
right.
It looks like it would be fun. I think maybe the trailer made it look like it was more of a little bit more zany and comedic than the movie ended up being.
I think I enjoyed it. This was my second time watching it, and I think I enjoyed it a lot more the second time watching it.
Yeah.
The first time it didn't really hit me because I had read the book, and I think I was just expecting something else maybe.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I did the second time watching it.
Yeah, I really had a good time.
Well, this was my first time watching it, as well as my first time diving into this whole culture that is Tommy.
Culture.
What is it? Did I say the wrong name again?
No. Just like it's a culture.
I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. Like
this Tommy multiverse.
It's a planet.
This whole thing that's happening.
It's Tommy's planet.
Yeah. So it was my first introduction.
What you're saying?
And maybe he's a vampire. I don't know.
It was just my first introduction to any of this. Like I said earlier, you guys said like watch The Room, then watch The Disaster Artist.
Yeah. But it's better to do it the way.
What is it?
The way you did it, it's better.
I think it is, but also I absolutely loved The Disaster Artist as a movie itself. So I didn't know much about anything when I watched it, but I felt like it really did well in telling me what it was about. But all the actors that are in it, and I don't know, I found it hilarious. It's also got that kind of independent movie feel to it, and I love that. But this is probably one of my favorite movies we've watched in a while. That like hit into something I would have watched on my own kind of thing. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I think for me, and one of the things that was weird, I felt it was kind of off. Like, I feel like they did a great job nailing all the characters down, all this, is when they would do scenes from the movie, they're just all naturally better actors than the actors that are actually in the movie. So they're like too good. Like, they're good actors trying to be bad actors, and they still can't quite get to the like level of awkward stiltedness that the real movie has.
That's true.
They're close.
Well, I mean, I think they're not going to, but I thought they got pretty close
got
because
close.
at the end they do show scenes side by side.
Yeah.
And I mean, I thought they were pretty decent.
Pretty nailed the shot composition and the
It has to do with their
actors and the
I think
timing
they did.
and everything.
their faces are more in it.
Well, yeah,
In a
for
way
sure.
that makes it more believable, because I feel like with the actors that actually do it, they're so like dead.
Yeah.
That
I think James Franco doing the scene where he comes out with the water bottle and is like, "I did not hit her."
Oh, my God,
hi,
yeah,
Mark.
I did not.
That was his first take in the movie, I think, wasn't it?
It was. It took
Yeah.
37 takes or something. It took like 4 hours to film that little 5-second scene.
But like, I thought he captured that when they showed that side by side. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh my gosh!" And the thing that this movie did for me was get me excited to go to the room because I always am. Even sometimes if it's a movie that you pick that I'm like, okay, I'm going to absolutely love this, I'll be excited. But then there's times where I'm not going to be, and I like dread it. This was kind of in the middle, but then once I watched The Disaster Artist, I was like pumped for the movie. Like I was excited and ready to go until we got to the movie. And there were
3 minutes
all
in,
the
it's-
sex scenes.
It's like soft music,
Yeah.
candles.
But so, I mean, as far as The Disaster Artist, I thought it was great.
that was something that did you notice? I know you're tuning out everyone else in the theater, but when that scene happened, like almost everybody in the theater was shouting the words at the screen.
What scene?
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's
Oh, yeah,
bullshit.
yeah.
I did not hit her. Oh, hi, Mark. Like the whole audience was yelling it.
I did not notice that.
And like when I watched The Disaster Artist, I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably why everyone knows every word to
Yeah.
that scene.
Yeah.
So you do it over and
I
over.
mean, for
and
better
over.
or worse, that's one of the more memorable moments in a movie
For
in
sure.
the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, it also just doesn't make much sense, of course, like a lot of the scenes. Why is Mark already on the roof?
Why is anybody on the roof?
Yeah. I don't know. I'd hang out on my roof if I had a roof, I think.
I mean, if it had like a cool like patio and like tables.
Well,
and,
maybe
like,
it did. It was just
fire
off scene.
pit. Yeah, it's just off scene.
They just
Couldn't
didn't
afford
set
it.
with
It's got a
that stuff.
concrete slab. It's okay. Bad. What kills me is like just like so he spent all this money, but he spends it in like the dumbest ways possible. So like that scene with Chris R and Denny was originally shot like in The Disaster Artist. They shoot it in that fake alleyway, even though there's an alleyway right outside they could have just shot it in. And supposedly, I forget which one, but that took 2 weeks to shoot, I think. One of them took 2 weeks. Anyway, they ended up reshooting the scene in the roof, and that's how it is in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But they shot that scene twice where Chris R is threatening Danny.
Right.
And both times, like, just go shoot it on a rooftop.
Right.
Just shoot it in an alleyway.
Yeah, they created
And-
the rooftop.
Yeah, at a cost of like an extra $80,000.
And it's not even that great.
No, it's a really terrible blue screen. Like, there's no understanding of how 3-dimensional space works with this. Like, how do you comp in the cityscape behind you? It just looks terrible.
Hey, yeah. And I mean, you would think he could have spent a lot less money just to like close down an alley
Yeah.
or borrow a roof from any building.
I mean, even Stanley Kubrick would have been like, okay, we can move on.
It goes
We
back
can
to
do
his
like a day of
control.
shooting and then move on.
Right.
He's a controlling person, and he wouldn't listen to anybody. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't know how to make a movie.
Right.
And he had people there that did know how to make movies, and
Yeah.
he wouldn't listen to them. And that's why you got what you got.
Yeah, that's how it ended up the way. Like, you couldn't try to make a movie. Like, you actively have to try to make Tommy, like just the ego involved to try to make a movie this good.
I was reading some of these little facts, and there are two of them that are great. Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill were early fans of the film. At one point, Jonah Hill actually saw Tommy Wiseau at a grocery store in Los Angeles and was so starstruck that he secretly took a picture of Wiseau and sent it to Rogan. And then it also says that in almost every interview for the disaster artist, James Franco mentions that Tommy Wiseau approves of 99.9% of the film. His only objections were the lighting of the first scene, which Franco believes was because Tommy was wearing sunglasses when he was watching the scene, and also for the poor way James threw the football. Which is so funny because in going back to The Room, every time they toss the football, they could just hand it to each other. They're standing
like
so
3 feet
close.
away.
Yeah. Like
This cramped little alleyway.
there is no tossing.
I think a couple of times they just kind of underhand, like,
Yeah.
it's not even like a throw. It's just
No, you could literally just lob
Here,
it.
take
Yeah. Which so I think it's funny that that's like one of the things he's
And
not a fan of.
anytime anybody asks him about like why are they throwing footballs, he's like, football fun.
Yeah.
Football's fun.
It's an American game.
Yeah.
This is a big American movie. We need
Yep.
American football.
So funny.
I like that every time they have the football out, someone gets hurt, even though they're tossing it literally 3 feet.
Yeah, the one dude that goes for the throw and he's
Yeah.
Face plants.
Place plants. The other guy like
oh,
throws
no,
it into
feet.
Denny's stomach somehow and injures Denny at one point. Like
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many things about that movie though. But I think overall the Disaster Artist, it does give you a good look through what led up to this movie and
Yeah.
what what
like-
happened during this movie.
and like what it was like to make the movie. I think that's
Yeah.
the best thing it does is like what it was like on set.
Right.
And how frustrated everyone was getting with him.
Yeah.
Like his bathroom, like the bathroom that he had made for himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like,
You
What?
paid that much money for that? And
yeah, he spent like
Yeah.
we
We can't
rerouting
have
like
water?
plumbing and everything, and
Yeah.
and
to have his own bathroom.
what's his name?
Now that I don't think that's not in the Disaster Artist, the movie. I don't think is it.
the
Was it?
bathroom.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Yeah, it's in
Bathroom in
Disaster.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and then
I know it was in the book.
Seth Rogen goes, "We have a real bathroom with doors, right there,
Yeah,
Oh,
right
okay.
next to it."
I just don't remember it.
Seth Rogen is like,
I'm-
for a few lines, he doesn't have a ton of lines, but like every one of them is great.
Yeah.
in
Yeah, he's
this.
great
Like,
in it.
he's
Well, I mean,
great.
he's usually pretty good.
He just plays Seth Rogen.
I mean, more or
Yeah.
less.
That's all it is.
Right. So if I missed something, then I definitely need to go back and watch it anyways. I plan on rewatching it.
Yeah.
The Disaster Artist at least. The Room, only if I can convince people to watch it with me.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it a second time
No,
personally.
I think I'm good. Like on that
Yeah.
one for a while. I mean, if someone was like, "Let's watch The Room," I'm like, okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I'm not gonna like borrow.
Hey,
it.
you want to watch The Room?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna borrow it from the library, which, by the way, we have both movies. I'm not gonna do that and then just like set it home by myself and watch The Room.
It's definitely like a party kind of movie.
Yeah.
You need to have friends there. Like,
Right, exactly. And I think it'd be good to do both.
Should watch it Christmas Day by yourself.
right
should do
before I
that.
go to
should do
IHOP.
that.
New tradition.
Bring it high up. Maybe we'll see. I like how like frustrated like Paul Scheer, who's like I think he's one of the producers. He gets really upset with Tommy and is like about ready to quit. Like I think they're filming the sex scene. Like that just kind of like that scene's really great. Like how it shows like everyone's frustration on set with him and how he just had no idea how to make a movie and
Right.
Well, now
like because it's a sex scene, so usually it's a closed set, so there's only like a few key people, like the cameraman, director, you know.
Right.
But he's just like, no, open set, and he just walks out with like a trash bag
Yeah.
tied around his member. It's
Mhm.
like trash bag, not a trash bag, a brown paper bag.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah, and he
strange
treated in that process too. Like he treated the actress that played Lisa terribly.
Terribly, yeah,
Oh yeah.
I mean, just humiliated her.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because she had like moles or something.
She had moles.
Yeah.
She had some
Her
acne on her
pimple.
back.
And he was like, this not beautiful. Cover it up.
And in the book, they mentioned too that the dress that she wore, it just wasn't. It wasn't like form fitting enough, and it, you know how like they say, you know, on camera it adds 10 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were saying that dress also added a little bit, and like just they were just unable to properly do costume design.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Tommy would wear whatever he wanted to wear, didn't listen to him, and they just threw her in this dress. And
Jackets that three sizes too large and chains and
then all kinds of stuff in his pockets. And
oh, I noticed that from after watching The Disaster Artist, and he's just like furiously stuffing stuff in his pockets before his first take.
yeah.
And then I noticed it in the movie, in the room. Just his pockets are like bursting. It's like cargo pant pockets are just like bursting at the seams. It's so funny.
That's the point of cargo pants, I guess.
I
Yeah,
guess.
just
Really nailing that in.
that's what I always do. I just stuff a bunch of tissues and papers every day. Just I don't know.
See how much
Makes me
you can
feel
fit in.
Makes me feel comfortable. It's like
Right.
a little coping mechanism.
Like a little padding, just in case you fall or something. You
yeah,
never
well,
know.
yeah. And I might fall on my thigh. You never know.
I think one thing that the book does really well, and they don't show in the movie quite as much, and it's one thing that I enjoyed about the book was seeing the behind the scenes of the movie industry and his whole trying to get cast in movies. And he picked up a movie in Romania like right before The Room and did it. It was like Retro Puppet Man or something like
Puppet
that.
Master.
Puppet Master, yeah.
Yeah.
He filmed that.
And he had just got a soap opera, I think.
Yeah.
During production or of The Room. Like he had got a role on a soap opera.
He lied about that. That's what the book said.
Oh, did it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he went out for an audition of it, and then when Tommy wanted to switch him with the other guy that was actually supposed to play Mark.
They don't talk about in the movie.
They don't talk about it in the movie, but there was another guy that was supposed to play Mark, and they were getting rid of him. That guy asked him, like, how did it go? And he said, oh, I got the part, because he was afraid it would be obvious that he was going to steal his part or something. But he did go out for it. It was Young and Restless, one of the biggest soap operas.
This is what happens when you only skim the book.
Yeah.
You're full of yourself.
So yeah, Tommy had casted a guy named Don to play Mark's part.
His name was Dan.
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 And Tommy called him Don.
Tommy called him Don. Therefore, Greg had to call him Don because Tommy didn't know who he was talking about.
That's right.
So also, people's names did not matter. Tommy just chose new names for them.
But there was this whole scene in the book where Tommy was, I guess he didn't want the confrontation.
Basically.
With telling him that he no longer had the part.
Yeah.
So he made up this elaborate story that these other producers were interested in Greg.
His other producers.
His other producers were interested in Greg, and they wanted to film like a little reel to send for a movie that he might be in, and that was the whole thing. And so they just filmed Mark's scenes. Like he just did the role of Mark, and Dan or Don, whatever his name is, he's just sitting there watching this other guy like performing his role, and
Fuming.
fuming, and you know, it hits him. He's like, yeah, he's got my part.
Yeah.
I think it kind of worked out.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Greg
but-
Sestero has gone on to do every single movie that Tommy Wiseau has done. And they even do one called Best Friends / Best Fiends. It's Friends with the R in parentheses, where it's like a 2-volume film that they've done together.
Oh, wow. 2 volumes.
How do you get these films? I want to watch them.
I want to watch them too.
I feel like I want to watch another one.
I imagine that they're probably available on Tommy's website.
Yeah.
Big Shark.
Which you
is
can also
another
get
one.
underwear
Yeah,
with his
I need-
name on
I'm
it.
going to get me
Street
some of
Fashion
those.
USA.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And he's in a movie with the dad from Troll 2.
George Hardy.
Yeah. It's called Cyst.
Oh, we need to watch
Yeah, that's
that.
his new one. That's George Hardy's newest movie.
Yeah, I guess Greg Sestero is
How
also
do you know
in
that?
it.
Research from our last podcast when we did that movie.
Yeah, that's his new one.
Stuff you can't remember. But you remember George Hardy's last movie?
Listen, these are fun
Well, he was
movies.
like currently promoting it when we were doing our podcast.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, Cyst.
Oh, Cyst, I know about this movie.
I was going to watch that, and I never did. Now I'm going. Who's in it with him?
Greg Sestero and
Oh.
George Hardy.
I still want to see that, but I thought Tommy was in it.
No.
That's funny.
Did you catch this trivia where James Franco only had 2 people in the mind for the role of Juliet?
Oh,
You see what the second choice was?
All roads lead back to Crossroads, because one of them was Britney Spears.
That would work.
That would have worked.
That would have worked.
I don't know the other person. Is that who
don't
did
know.
play her?
her? Yeah.
No, her played her wasn't she on like Glee or something?
No, I was saying the girl who played
yeah,
her
I
was
guess
the other
she
one he
did.
had in mind.
Are we talking about Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ari Grainer.
For some reason, I always get her
I don't know who that
confused
is.
with Debbie something.
She,
look a lot
she
alike.
did really well in that role.
Yeah.
Like, she
Yeah,
looked
she
a lot
did.
like her.
I feel like James Franco might be a Britney Spears fan because, like in Spring Breakers, there's also a huge scene in the movie and Britney Spears music is used. I don't know. Maybe he's not.
I mean, he wanted to cast her. He's the director.
Yeah.
I think it's great that he directed the movie.
Yeah.
Like, we went full Tommy.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like he probably definitely did. Like,
Yeah.
he kind of became him for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I think I remember reading that he was tried to stay in character.
I think
Much
I've
as
read
he
about
could.
that about him before anyway.
Yeah.
But I feel like it came through in the Disaster Artist movie. Like it felt authentic.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I'm just watching Tommy.
Yeah.
Kind of like a slightly tweaked cartoonish version. More cartoon. Like
Yeah.
just a notch above
Yeah.
Tommy on the weirdo scale.
I love anything that Alison Brie does, and I especially like it when her and Dave Franco act opposite of each other because they're like a real life couple,
Yeah,
and they
they're
just
married.
have really great chemistry in everything that they do.
Wait, what, Amber?
Great on Glow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, she's
who's
great on
Amber?
Glow.
Still bitter about that one.
yeah,
Who was Amber?
it's Greg's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I like her in everything.
Yeah.
She's
You know what?
charming.
I'm gonna say something.
Okay.
I wish there was more Zac Efron in this movie.
What?
Yeah.
'Cause his scene's really good, and I was like,
That's because Zac Efron is a good
I
actor.
wish Chris R was in this movie more.
Yeah. This is what I've been trying to get to you. He's a decent actor.
Yeah, he is. He is a pretty good actor.
Look at that.
I mean, I haven't really slammed him. It's just the movie
I guess that's
choices.
true. I guess that's true. And who knows if they were his choices at that time and of age and
Well,
stuff.
We could always watch Neighbors.
Neighbors
good
is
movie.
good. That's
It's
also
okay.
Seth
He's
Rogen.
in it. Dave Franco's in it.
Yep.
Seth Rogen's in it.
It's pretty good.
I like that movie a lot.
Oh, I have a thing. Apparently, there is a charity remake / screening coming out this year of The Room with Bob Odenkirk as Tommy
Is
Wiseau.
it going to be released?
I don't know. It was supposed to come out in June.
Oh,
They
man.
remade The Room.
It's like a charity reading. It's not like a true remake.
And who's that guy?
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk,
Better Call Saul.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
He's
He's in the Disaster Artist.
He's literally perfect in everything he's in.
What was he in the Disaster Artist?
He's the guy who tells Tommy
were you?
that he is a villain.
Yeah, like the acting coach.
The acting coach with the goatee.
I'm gonna have
Called
to
him an
rewatch
ogre.
Call him an ogre. That's a great scene.
I'm hero.
Good.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I'm hero.
yeah. Okay, I remember that.
Oh, if you are a villain, you laugh. Ha ha ha. That's what villains do.
So funny.
I like I think it's the early scene where it's at the acting class, and he's just doing da-da. You know, he's just
Yeah.
always doing it. It's just
Yeah.
like all over the set, like climbing and Dave Franco's just like, whoa.
I think he was mesmerized by
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
and just
like-
wanted to be in just around him and in his circle.
Yeah, I think like for real, that's what Greg wanted. I mean, that's what it sounds like in his book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
think
was just one of those things. And I mean, I've met people like that where it's like, this person might be a little off the rails, but at the same time, they just have like this magnetic field that you want to be in, at least at some point in life.
yeah. Yeah, I've definitely been around people like that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it can be. It definitely can be. And I mean, obviously, there's something there because they're still friends.
Yeah.
So they're still friends to this day. So obviously, the friendship works in some way for Greg and for Tommy. So
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty
every,
cool.
Like, 6 weeks when Tommy comes out of his coffin.
He gets to walk among the
decides
living.
to screen the room at, Albuquerque or something.
So
It's
Or work on a different project. Oh, and Greg will also be in the Room remake. He is reprising his role as Mark.
cool.
So
And they're going to show this like in theaters?
I don't think so. I think it's
Oh.
going to be like a charity screening. So it'll probably be just digitally released.
Okay.
do you guys know how Tommy got his SAG card?
Oh, no. Tell the story.
So he basically, I think I talked about this a little bit earlier with Greg. Whenever he shot the retro Puppet Master movie, they created a demo reel for him to be able to give out for casting calls and things like that.
I did read this whole page.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't made it there yet.
And Tommy was just like through the roof about this, that he got one done, and he had him send him one, and Tommy watched it like a million times, like loved it. And there's a scene at the very beginning where there's like all these candles, and he's like walking down a staircase in this movie Retro Puppet Master, and Greg thought it was like the most like cheesy part of the movie there was, but for some reason Tommy just loved it.
Probably all the candles.
It was probably the candles and the eeriness and vampire
Yeah.
kind of feel. So Tommy wants to get a SAG card, but he's not acted in anything. So he has this fashion line, which is where a lot of people think that he has made his money, Street Fashion USA. And it's a terrible name, but it sounds like it's straight out of the 90s.
Oh, 100%.
Which it probably was,
Yeah.
actually. But basically, he creates a commercial for Street Fashion USA, and he uses the exact same scene that was in his demo reel.
Oh, that's funny.
Almost like shot for shot.
That's hilarious.
So he gets a SAG card, and and it was a big deal for Tommy to get that done. Like he was an actor now.
Right.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me because I was reading that Oscar season book, and they made a rule. I forget, maybe it was like 10 years ago. If you were, maybe, I don't know if it's in SAG, like a similar thing, but like if you haven't worked for so long, you go to like a different tier. Maybe that's why he like does something like every few years.
Oh,
Like he does, I don't
To
know.
stay
Okay,
active.
movie.
Yeah, to stay active on SAG.
Yeah.
wow.
Huh.
So you can buy
Could
the
be.
Tommy Wiseau boxers. They're 3 pairs for $16.99.
Oh, it's not
For
bad.
Street Fashions
Pretty
USA.
cheap.
That's actually not that bad.
It's not bad.
Well, Christmas is coming.
I mean,
Everyone's getting boxer briefs.
that's just not a bad price overall.
I am tempted. I think I might.
Oh, I very well might.
Are they on Amazon or just on a site?
I would like to point out that I think it's just on the site, but
Oh my
this is the
God.
advertisement for tank tops.
What the
Why?
hell?
Why is one person only half
What is
wearing
that
it?
look?
That's a Tommy Wiseau look.
I'm
100%.
now understanding that music video
Yeah.
Wow.
that showed before the movie.
Yeah.
So this is his.
Yeah, Street Fashion USA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's
I
wrong
can't
with
wait
that?
to look at everything. It's so good though. There's a lot of great. What's that called? Like,
Laughter?
like that sayings
Awkward.
that come from it.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of the word. Like,
Quotes?
Just lines, quotes.
quotes.
Guys,
Like quotes.
guys, you can get a room Blu-ray with 2 free boxers designed by Tommy Wiseau for $19.99.
That's a deal.
I'm totally going to buy that as soon as we get.
That's hilarious. This
I mean, I want to have a Blu-ray copy in the highest
dying.
definition
yeah, right. For sure.
of this, plus boxers.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wear them while I watch the movie. To complete my room.
I'm sorry for our little advertisement of Street Fashions USA.
Maybe dye
but
your hair
man,
black
this is
as
killing
well.
me.
Yeah, I'll do that while I'm dyeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the great thing about the movie, though, is like you guys said, it is very quotable. There are so many
Oh, yeah.
great quotes in this movie.
See, you said it so much better than I did, but that's what I meant. But it is, I mean, you could like, man, the merchandise for this movie could be never ending.
It is.
Well, yeah, it might be
I
for
might
real.
just get some like picture frames with spoons in them.
There you go.
Set them randomly
be
around the
hilarious.
house.
That would be hilarious.
But hey, it's a talking point. People come over here, it's like, what's up with? They're like, what's with the spoons? And I'm like,
Well,
let me tell you
yeah.
about the room.
About the room. I mean, but it is. It's so quotable, and then it's just one of those things, kind of like Troll 2, where it has its own fandom. It has its own. That's why I said like its own world or
Yeah.
whatever I said earlier.
Yeah.
The universe that is Tommy Wiseau and the products of him. I think it's so fun to just dive into things like that.
It's very similar to a movie we did on here, King of Kong. And like him
Right.
and
Oh, yeah.
Billy Mitchell are like kind of parallel
Right.
people.
yeah.
I'd love to just see them two together.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a.
I don't know if like the celluloid would just burn up.
It might.
Like,
That would.
I don't think it can contain that much.
What if they What if they make a movie?
What if they make a movie?
What if they make a movie and Tommy Wiseau played?
Billy Mitchell.
Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect.
that would be awesome.
That's good casting.
And then Greg could play his nemesis in
Steve Wiebe.
Steve,
Steve Wiebe. I'm for this. I think they should
can we
make
contact
that.
them about
Yeah.
this? That's actually it's a good plan.
It'd be like the disaster artist version of
King
that.
Kong.
Yeah.
Wow. I can see that. I can see Tommy being like,
Yeah,
what
100%.
does he ask him when he's doing like the tie thing? It's like, what are my initials or what are my, like, what do I stand for? Look at the tie.
I could totally see this movie happening. Like,
It'd be
It'd
hilarious.
be amazing. We don't want to talk to them.
Yeah.
I got some hot sauce over here. Tried the hot sauce, by the way. It's not the greatest.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Thanks for the present, Josh.
You're welcome. Number one person in the hot sauce industry. Me.
I think it'd be good.
Can always come up with the great movie ideas.
I know.
I know. That is, I mean, we've said it before.
Why don't
Like,
we
that's
just
what
make
we do.
this?
That's legitimately good.
And hired Tommy Wiseau.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or one of us play. I don't know. We could do something. This would be hilarious.
What if we
wig
just
on it.
somehow feed him the idea? And
Is he on Twitter?
I doubt it.
I feel like that could be a
apparently
wreck.
very hard to contact
Yeah.
because he's in a coffin
In
6 months of
Transylvania.
the year in Transylvania.
So we'll have to let Greg know, and then he can pass it on to
Pretty
Tommy.
sure he's definitely.
So a documentarian believes they have discovered, they're not 100% for sure, that Tommy Wiseau was born in the Eastern Bloc in Poland.
Oh, people are like spending time to figure it out. Oh,
It's a mystery.
I like the mystery though.
It's a mystery.
I don't want to know.
In potentially 1955.
That makes sense. He looks to a little younger than that, but
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, what was it? He was born in 67?
55.
55.
He says he was born in 67 or 69, something like that.
Yeah, it seems. I mean, he looks like he's in his 60s
Yeah.
now.
So maybe
Even in the room, he looked like he was.
older.
Pushing
Yeah, I mean,
50.
he's at least in his like mid 40s. It looks
Yeah.
like in the room.
That's been 20 years.
Everyone else is
No.
Yeah.
like.
He's Greg's age.
So
Yeah.
somebody's got it. Like, no, he's 19. It's always 19. That's when we were watching the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, they really didn't do it justice, the scene where the mom comes out and talk to him. But in the book, it's great. She just really is like scared to death about her son like driving off to California with this man that he's only known for like 1 month.
Yeah.
And I believe his mom was French too, and the actress that played her, wasn't. But,
Megan Mullally.
Yeah, Megan Mullally. She was great in that role.
Yeah, she was pretty fun.
Yeah. The actual
How
one
old are
was
you?
French.
Same age as her son.
19.
You're 19 years old. Like, no.
Yeah, it's all good.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
all good.
Don't worry about that stuff.
I just love what just random laughter he has in the movie. It's like he's like ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he
it's
tells
so
like this
good.
terrible story, and it's like ha ha. What a good story.
It was. I mean, it's like there was that all throughout the movie. This random laughter, and it's
Yeah.
like he was just laughing. I don't know. Maybe he was just getting so much joy out of making his own movie.
Something like
Like
that.
it didn't make sense in the movie.
It's emotion.
He's
Yeah.
nervous in front of the camera.
Big emotion.
Maybe
Always
nervous laughter. Oh, hi, Mark.
I think it definitely is a nervous laughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes
Yeah, no
across that
human
way.
being laughs like that. Ha ha ha.
Well, that's why he's a vampire. So,
Yeah.
Or an alien. We're not sure. He's from something
yeah.
elsewhere.
Yeah. I guess that kind of wraps up our discussion. I mean, sort of. That's where we're going to end it at least.
I think it was a hard one to wrap up because they're all so intertwined.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
you really, I would not advise watching either one without the other.
No, for sure. You need
This
both.
is like the best horse movie in Troll 2. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They feed off each other.
Well, and clearly, I think we'd also recommend possibly going into the book. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to use that as one of
Yeah, I
my
might
summer
try to
reading
listen
books.
to it like on my next car
It's-
trip because he reads it right.
Yeah,
Greg
he reads
Sestero.
it, and like Todd said, he does Tommy's voice, and
It's
it's
really good.
great.
Oh, Oh my
It's
god,
great.
I'll have to
Greg
check
does
it.
his voice.
Yeah, I'll have to check.
And you are getting that firsthand account and actually his voice, you're hearing him talk about all of this.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting. I'm not very far in, but it's going to be one of my summer reading books, but it seems like it's going to be good.
Oh, I really love when all the actors and the disaster artists are sitting around talking about what the movie's about. And they're like, oh, he's had a friend he's jealous of. He has someone who's betrayed him and all this. But then he's like, and then they're like, well, who's Lisa? Do you think there was a girl? And the girl goes, and the lady's like, no, she's the universe. And
Oh, yeah,
how
'cause
Tommy
it's like the
feels about the
universe.
universe, because they clearly don't think he's ever had a person.
Yeah.
Because they all watched that sex scene play out. But yeah.
Yeah, you definitely
You
feel,
all know
you feel
how
sorry
McLovin
for him at
eats some
times.
blocks.
Yeah, you do. I don't know. And I think another reason that we cannot exactly just wrap this up like we do a normal discussion is there's so much we could I think we could, everything leads into something else, and you could sit and talk about this stuff forever because it's its own little universe for sure. We are going to wrap it up there. And I guess we need to talk about our next podcast.
Which is going to be cryptid themed.
Yeah, somewhat.
I say that with a question mark.
Yeah, I think it's loosely a cryptid theme to kind of go with our adult theme.
Okay.
Just creatures in a way, probably.
Creatures in the forest that may or may not
Kind of
exist.
stuff. Yeah,
Like Harry and the Hendersons.
Okay,
that would be a good pick.
But that is-
I thought about picking that.
it's a pretty. I used to watch that movie a lot.
Yeah.
No.
Fun fact: that's the same guy, Kevin Anderson, I think, plays Harry, the Bigfoot Squatch, and Harry and Henderson's is the same guy that plays Predator in the first two Predator movies.
Oh, that's cool.
Those are very different roles.
Yeah.
Very different. But
Yeah.
there's not a lot of like 7'4" guys out there
Also that.
in the movie business.
All right, so movies for the next time. You want me to go first?
That's why
Okay.
I'm pointing at you.
Yeah. Well, good
Little behind
story.
the scenes info. Ha ha ha.
Haha, good story, Josh.
Oh, ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha, good story. So I'm gonna do something a little different because I didn't watch a movie that I could think of for this. I like Harry and the Hendersons I've seen. And anyways, but Toby told me about this movie that I think I would like. And I don't know whether you'd like, but you haven't seen it. So it's really, I'm picking a movie that neither one of us have seen.
Okay.
So that's a little different. But I'm going to pick The Ritual,
Oh,
I
okay.
think is the name of it.
Yeah.
I think you're truly going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's
I
got,
watched the
like-
trailer and it looked like something I would like. And I planned on watching it before I picked it to be like, oh, yes, I do like it. But that didn't happen. So we're going to see what happens.
Give
with
it a college try.
Yeah. I mean,
So
maybe
I guess
we'll both
I'm
hate it.
picking the ritual.
Yeah, kind of Toby's picking it. Yeah.
Hey now.
As a puppet. Oh, okay. So The Ritual, that's what my choice is.
All right. So thinking a similar, I don't know.
It is similar.
No, he's
I'm
deciding between two movies.
Yeah.
You're gonna
I
switch
can
it up
tell
on
in his
us?
face.
That's such a good pairing, man.
Oh,
They're too similar though.
I don't think they are.
I say do the other one that wasn't planned.
I'm going to pick The Mist.
Okay.
Okay.
Those are more similar.
Okay, fine. Well, it's a Stephen King movie.
Oh, well, okay.
And
Well,
you
it's a
haven't
mess,
seen
yeah.
it.
I have not because I haven't read it.
Are you going to read the book? It's
No,
a short. It's
I'm not gonna
it's
have-
a short.
Oh,
one.
I might.
It's like one of his like I don't know. Maybe it's like 150 pages.
Okay.
It's like-
Maybe.
pretty-
We'll
It's
see.
a pretty short one.
It seems appropriate with all the wildfires, you know.
Yeah, we have it outside. That's what
We have the
Toby
mist
was like
going.
yesterday morning. She messaged us and she was like, "Are we in the mist?"
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, "I hadn't heard the sirens." And she was like, "Oh, they go off at noon." I'm like,
It did.
"You'll see when you watch the movie."
Okay. So I think I've seen little parts of it. I've definitely seen the ending.
Oh, you've seen the ending?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
Wow, that's
Well, I don't know what it. I mean,
That's a really good ending for a
Yeah.
movie too.
that's why I've seen it.
Yeah, but that like kind of ruins the whole thing. If you've seen the
Does it
ending.
though?
I mean, if you know like what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
No.
Oh well, we're still picking it.
Yeah. I mean, if I read the book,
It's a great
well, it's
movie too,
different.
and I'm gonna loan you my Blu-ray too.
Okay.
I want you to watch the better version of the movie.
Okay.
It's in black and white.
So sad.
Wow.
Because your other choice is
Okay.
is my favorite horror movie probably ever.
Well,
save it for the podcast. Another one.
which do you think goes better?
I mean,
Because the Ritual just looks like The Descent with dudes.
that's why I think it's a great pairing, but they're not that similar when it plays out. I don't want
Well,
to ruin it for Aaron. But
yeah, don't ruin it because that's another one I want to see eventually.
Yeah, the
Well, we could save The Mist for like if you want to do like a Stephen King one, or we could save it for October or something.
Stephen King one would be good.
Because
Stephen
that's
King
why
would be
I also
cool.
think that it's
'Cause, I mean,
good
there's
because they
definitely some
both
Stephen
take
King movies
place
you haven't
in
seen.
like a foresty background, which definitely feels more cryptidy.
Okay,
Descent.
fine.
I think
Let's-
if we're going to change the movie, I want all this still in it because I think this was all pretty good.
Yeah. That's
and
okay.
and
We
it
can leave it.
shows sometimes this stuff isn't planned.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might not stay in.
I
but-
think the Descent is a better pairing with the Ritual and fits the cryptid theme better. Also,
I am also a Toby puppet.
yes, dance for me. Do as I say.
Aaron, I changed,
I am absolutely drunk with power.
I changed my choice. I am picking
You mean
the Descent.
Toby changed your choice?
Yes.
I am the producer. I do get to do this.
Thanks,
I am-
Tommy Wiseau.
Well, I am acting of my own volition. I choose The Descent.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So it is settled. Our next podcast is going to be The Descent and The Ritual.
Ritual.
And that's what we're going to do.
That's what we're committed to it
Yes.
now.
Yeah. We want to thank you, Todd, for being on the podcast again. And once again, you've chosen horrible movies that are great.
That we love.
Thank you.
And I think it's just been another fun podcast. Our first outing to a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do that again sometime. It was
Yeah,
fun.
it was a good way to watch it. So
Something
stay tuned because who knows what we're going to do next, I guess. We don't even know, but sometimes Toby does.
It's all just a ploy for Todd to pay for our movies. First one's free. Then you got to pay your own way next
Yeah,
time.
I'm like Chris R.
First taste is free.
All right. So thank you, Todd, again
Thanks
for
for
being
having
on
me.
this episode. And I guess until next time, I'm Aaron,
I'm Josh.
and this has been The Real Opposites.
I'm having a great